So it's week 6 and we're looking at the third eye, which is between the forehead, between the eyebrows on the forehead. We're going to, first of all, just before I go into any detail about it, we're just going to bring our head to rest on our hands or maybe on the floor directly by coming into child pose. So your bum goes back towards your heels, knees wide. We're taking a very slow, gentle movement down to the floor. And if your head doesn't quite reach the floor, bring your head to your hands. Or it can just come right down onto the mat. So take a deep breath here. Deep breath, and you can also move your head a little bit. You can roll it a little bit from left to right just to stimulate, to activate this area. Notice how that feels, and also notice how you feel. Just as we have in other weeks, we're really looking at ourselves objectively, not with not harsh critical view, but just noticing any bits of ourselves that hold tension or stiff, or if we're tired or listless, or maybe you've got loads of energy. So noticing these things, and this is very important practice in yoga. So we're going to just move into a little gentle stretch. So you keep the head down. We're sliding the left hand away, and the bum is going to lift up. Keep the head down. We're going to take the right foot away. And if you enjoy the stretch and it feels good, then you can really extend with the hand, really extend through the foot. You can rock a little bit on the foot, so lift up the heel and lower the heel. And then bring the knee down, bring the hand back, rest here. So we're going to explore the other side. So take the right hand away. You want to feel a nice sense of extension, stretch across into the shoulders, maybe into the waist, and then the left foot. And just observing how this feels, any bits that feel awkward or stiff. And come back, knee back, hands are going to slide back. We'll just come to sitting in a kneeling position. I'm going to take the palms up. And you can bring the tongue to the tip of, to the roof of the mouth, and just rest your tongue there. And take some breaths. So the pineal gland, the third eye, is credited with this power of knowledge, deep, insightful knowledge that isn't just about what we see before our eyes, what we hear, what we're taught. It's a more deeper level of knowing, and in a way the yoga practice itself brings you into that, because you're encouraged all the time to listen to your body, to notice how things feel, and to make distinctions between different levels of the body. So maybe the muscular body, the bones, the energetic body, the emotional body. So this is the third eye. And the practice that we're going to do today is going deeper using a more restorative style of practice and using binding. So we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. So when I say restorative, I mean slower, not rushing ahead, really trying to take time in a pose, to explore the pose and to feel it in lots of ways, through the whole body, but not just on a physical level, maybe emotionally as well. So we're going to do some stuff with the shoulders. So we're going to lift the right hand, we're going to sweep it up and over it. So we're wanting this to feel really therapeutic, no jerky movements here. So just be observant if there's a bit of you that really wants to kind of overstrain and overextend. We're not interested in that today, just trying to find the smooth therapeutic movement that is in harmony with your body. And we'll bring some breath into this, so we're, as we breathe in, we're lifting the arm. As we breathe out, we're lowering the arm. As we breathe in, lifting the arm. And then we are going to make it a little bit stronger, taking the hand behind the head. I'm going to lift the elbow. And I'm going to lower the elbow. But we're really thoughtful about the way we move, not just hammering the body with mechanical movement. Again, keeping the breath as part of the movement, not an afterthought. So breathing in as we lift, breathing out. Trying to get some opening in the chest without overstraining. And then we're going to release the hand. We're going to swing it under the other arm, and we're going to bring the arm completely to rest on the floor. So I'm going to just turn around so you can see what that looks like. Completely resting on the floor. And then the other hand, so the right hand is pressing quite firmly against the floor. The left hand, quite light fingertip pressure into the floor. We're bending the elbow of that top arm. Resting the head, so really rest the head. And make time to breathe. We're going to hold this for a bit of time, so yeah. If you need to adjust something, please do. I'm going to take my knees a little wider here. Can you feel through the feet to lightly press into the floor with the front of the feet? Can you breathe into the back of the body? Can you breathe into the sides of the body? We could go further with this. We could take that left foot away and slide it away. And what that does, it actually gently pushes you a little bit more onto the right hand arm, so it's more intensity. And then you could let the left arm float up. And then you can wrap that arm around the waist if you wanted to. If you do go for the option of wrapping the arm around the waist, we want to gently nudge that top shoulder away. So really deeply twisting, deeply working on the shoulder. Breathing. 4 breaths. And then coming out with control, so really thoughtfully bringing the knee down, releasing the hand, coming back to all fours, and we'll just rest in child pose before we do the other side. So you can bring your head down, rest your third eye against your hands or against the floor. And you really savor the aftermath of that pose. So yeah, interesting sensations, strong sensations down the left, down the right side. And then we're going to do the other side. So come back to kneeling position. Floating the left arm up and down. So if it helps to be more present in the movement, then you could maybe close your eyes. So the idea of the third eye as being an inner vision. So we're not caught up in all the external stimulus of the outside world, we're really absorbed in the inner experience. And then you can take the hand, we're bringing it behind the head, and we're just going to explore, this is in a sense a stronger feeling. We've kind of bound the hand, we've restricted it a little bit. So lifting, lowering. It could be a small movement, by the way, so don't feel that this has to be a big, lift. It could be a very subtle movement, just minimal, if your shoulders are really sore. And then we're going to just release the hand, we're going to swing it under. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. So we're firmly pressing the left arm. We're on the fingertips of the right hand, light pressure into the fingertips of the right. And if possible, a right angle with this top arm. That will help us turn the chest. And there's quite a lot of intense pressure into the left arm, so breathing into that. You can extend through the right foot if you wanted something a little bit more dynamic. And you could let the other arm, the right arm, float up, and it could wrap around the waist. And if you do that, see if you can gently pull the top shoulder away. Keep breathing. And then the knee is coming down. We're going to release the hands. We're going to come back to kneeling position. This time make it a little bit stronger. We're tucking the toes under. Palms lifted, palms open. And the tongue can come back to the roof of the mouth, and that's supposed to activate, massage the pineal gland. And also it's just another point of focus, it's an internal focus, so you can close your eyes and tune into that, what that feels like, sensation of the tip of the tongue against the roof of the mouth. Again, it's quite subtle, and that is the beauty of yoga, that it gives you this subtle awareness. We're going to bring the hands down. We're going to tuck the toes under, come up to downward dog. Walking your feet. You want to feel length in the spine. And for me, that I get that more if I bend my knees. Bend my knees, lift my hips. And then of course you can always straighten the legs. Sort of move in and out of bent knees, straight legs. This is good. The bent leg option, it's really good if your shoulders are sore, because the weight is more in the feet. So you find that you struggle with downward dog because your shoulders, then just bend the knees a lot more. And maybe don't take the feet so far back. We're going to let the head roll. We're going to step forward with the right foot now. I'm going to just hang out here for a little bit. So let the weight of your body really drop onto this leg. So again, that idea of deeper knowledge, deeper experience, coming from a restorative practice. It's not to say you couldn't get deep experience from a fast and furious practice, but it's definitely a very good way to go, just slowing everything down. When you're rushing, even in yoga, you can kind of disconnect sometimes. So you're going to really get absorbed in the breath, breathing in and out through the nose. If at any point you need or feel you need a stronger sensation here, you could always slide the back knee away. And there's quite a lot of research around the optimum stretch being at least 60 seconds, even 90 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes. So, but there's a lot of physical benefit to just holding a pose for longer. It's very safe as well. So we are going to come up and hold the front knee. And then take the arms up overhead. And we're going to support the head. So I'm going to interlace my hands, bring them behind my head. Really relax the head back into your hands. And now we're bringing the hands behind us. We're going to interlace them. We're going to use this binding of the hands, really gripping the hands to draw the shoulders back and down. And we're going to come back down onto the knee. So can you bring your right shoulder to your right knee? And if possible, lift the arms. So the intensity, when you introduce the bind, it kind of locks you in. And there's always a bit of intensity that comes from being locked into something. Sometimes that brings a little bit of fear, a bit of resistance. It's just being observant of that. You learn a little bit about yourself when you apply these slightly stronger techniques. If you wanted more sensation, more dynamic pose, you could lift the back knee. Keep breathing. And then release the hands down. We're going to step back into downward dog. If at any point you felt you needed a slightly gentler practice and you weren't so keen on downward dog, then you could just be kneeling. That would be a good alternative. But if you're in downward dog, let's see if we can really get that length in the spine. So my tip for that is to lift your heels, bend your knees and push your bum back. You can then go into straight leg. So you're really working quite strong through the hands, pushing down, bum back, lift the heels. And now taking the left foot, stepping it forward. So just as with the other side, resting the body onto the knee. Take a breath, relax your body. So I wanted to talk today, while you're just resting here, I want to talk to you about another principle or ethic in yoga. It's called surrender. And it's very clearly stated in the Yoga Sutras that this is should be part of your practice. And you can think about that in a very tangible way, like when you're doing a pose like this, where you're just letting your body go. You're not actually trying to do anything here. You're just dropping away. So there's a very physical surrender happening. If you felt you needed or would enjoy a stronger stretch, you could slide the back knee away. And now we're going to come up and hold that front knee. And the arms can come overhead. And I've knocked my head out of the picture, but I'm bringing my hands behind my head. So I'm interlacing them behind my head. Just move the camera so you can see what that looks like. Can you really drop the head into the hands? So again, that sort of idea of surrendering, relaxing the brow, the forehead, where you so often hold tension, relaxing the throat. Then we're going to release the hands down. We're going to interlace them, quite firmly gripping. So again, it's a kind of bind, pulling the shoulders down. And we're coming over the knee. So again, just as we did earlier, we're resting the body on the leg, so surrendering the body. And we're using the bind to make it a little bit more intense. So we're going to lift the hands. If you can't lift the hands, don't worry about that. Think more about straightening the arms. If If you enjoy lifting the arms, then you can go for that. So remember the concept that the longer we hold the stretch, the more time the body has to really go deep into it. And also mentally as well, you can really experience it, the full experience from the feet, up the body, into the hips, into the hands, into the shoulders, into the crown of the head. And now we're letting the weight come back down, so we're releasing the hands. We're going to come into downward dog. If you wanted gentler or needed a rest, you could be in child pose for a moment, otherwise, or kneeling. Otherwise, let's take a downward dog. We're walking the feet. We're going to come into a forward bend, so bring the feet towards the hands, or the hands towards the feet. Again, we're going to do a little bit of binding, but first let's just let the body drop down. I've got my legs quite bent here. So really allowing the spine to just cascade down. So for the bind, we're going to bring our fingers into, make little loops with the fingers like this. So the thumb, the forefinger, the middle finger. And you're going to loop those around your big toes. And let the body come down again, but we're going to use the elbows with that bind, with that grip on the toe. We're seeing if we can go a little deeper. We're kind of locking ourselves in. And my tip is to take the elbows wide, and you get real nice feelings in the shoulders, rather than pulling the elbows more down towards the floor, taking them out to the side. I'll just move so you can see what that looks like. We're going to come all the way up to standing and come to the front of your mat. I'll just move my camera so you can see the whole of me. So we're at the front of our mats. We're going to bring the hands all the way up and overhead. And then bringing them all the way down again. In this time, the hands are going to come at the back of the body. We're going to, if you can, do a little prayer position so the palms are pressed together. And if that feels too much, you can hold your elbows. So again, it's a little way of slightly restricting ourselves, a little bit of a bind. It can add intensity into the practice. And what you're doing here is you're really encouraging the shoulders to come back. So by bringing the hands behind the back. So we're going to lift the right heel. We're going to let that right foot float up, and then we're going to plant it behind us, come into warrior one. So really firmly pushing back into that foot and bending the front knee if you can. Just taking a bit of time to feel the full sensation of this pose. And then we're going to bring the hands in front, so the thumbs are going to be in line roughly with your third eye. We're going to lift the right heel. We're going to come up into a bind, so we're going to come up and take that back foot and cross it over the left leg. Eagle pose it's called. So when you're ready, stepping forward and crossing the foot over the leg, and maybe even coming lower into squat. And then we're releasing the foot. We're going to come back into warrior pose. Again, let's just take a breath here. So we'll do that again. It's a little bit challenging, but I have confidence in you. And if you wish, you can make the eagle pose even stronger by crossing the opposite arm. So we've got the right leg coming over the left leg. So we're going to take the left arm over the right arm. So it's like this. So we can do that now. Take the left arm over the right arm. And then lift the heel of the back foot. Stepping forward, crossing down, and maybe coming a bit lower into squat. Keep breathing. And then we're going to come out and take the foot back, release the hands, and we'll just come into a wide angle pose. We're going to let the body float down towards the floor. Completely relaxing the head. So again, the idea of surrendering. So I'm going to bring a little bit of a bind to here. So we're going to take the right hand and the left hand and hold the right ankle. And then you can lift your opposite hand. If this feels a bit too much, then maybe don't go for holding the foot. You can just have the hand on the floor. And then we'll swap hands. So the other hand going to the other foot and lifting. And then taking your hands all the way back, so we're facing over the right, the left leg, coming up, hands lifting to forehead, and we're going to just very lightly, with control, step forward and bring the foot down. So we'll do that on the other side. I'm going to just turn to the other end of the mat so you can see me better, but you can stay as you are. So we're going to just take the hands and bring them behind the body. So again, it's a different kind of bind to open the chest. Expose the front body. Then we're lifting the left foot. I'm going to let that foot float up and back. So we're coming to warrior pose. Front knee bent, back foot flat if you can. Keep breathing here. And then we're going to come to the balance. So we'll take the hands up, so the thumbs in line with the forehead, and what that does is just brings your focus a bit more to the upper body. So we're not just kind of slouching down into this. We're going to take the back foot, And we're going to step it up and cross it over. And if you want more, you can drop down into a squat. And then coming up, we're going to take the foot back. As you can see, I'm wobbling a bit. It's perfectly normal to wobble, don't judge it. If you are, keep breathing. And then we're coming back into the bind, but we're going to take the opposite arm over. If you wanted to do that, if you felt that the bind for the upper body was too much, then just keep your hands like this. So we've got the back foot is going to come over. So we're going to take the opposite arm, and it's eagle pose, they call it. Palms together, lift the back heel, with control stepping up, wrapping the legs around each other and dropping into a little squat if your knees will allow it. Oh my God, I'm wobbling loads now. Keep breathing. Coming up and stepping back. Then bring the hands back to the forehead. Now we're going to turn into a wide angle pose. So again, coming forward, take your time to come forward. Ideally, you want to be able to bring the hands down. So that probably means bending the knees quite a bit. So taking the left hand all the way over to the right foot and lift the opposite hand, so we're binding. And then we're going to go all the way back to the other side. And back to centre. And we'll finish all the way back over the front leg. So we're turning our bodies towards the front leg, the right leg, and coming up. Hands back to forehead, we're going to lift that back foot, we're stepping forward. And you can just rest your thumbs against your third eye. Deep breaths here. So we're going to come into a downward dog. So I'm going to turn back to where I was originally. You can just stay as you are. We're just going to fold down, first of all, into a forward bend. And we're going to step back to a downward dog. And then we're going to lift the right foot and step it forward. And for this, I'm going to get you to just keep the back knee down for now, and the right hand is going to come on the inside of the foot. I'm going to lift up. Lift up with the opposite hand. We did a bit of this earlier, so hopefully you've got a sense of the arm being quite free. We kind of come up and down a few times with the arm and do a few circles with the arm. And then we're going to take that arm, see if we can wrap it around the waist. And similar to what we were doing earlier, trying to really pull the shoulder back. And so again, it's another kind of bind. So the full bind is to take the bottom hand and weave it under the leg so both hands come together. But I'm not expecting that to happen, and it's not essential for that to happen. The way you could work with this, if your hands don't meet, is to have one hand grabbing the t-shirt and the other hand grabbing the t-shirt. So you've got something to grab onto. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. We really want to work on pulling the shoulder back. So that's the purpose of the bind, to help you kind of open up, go deeper into this twist. Breathe. It's quite intense. So if I can turn around so you see what that looks like. So if you're binding, your hands are gripping. If your hands don't meet, you take the t-shirt and you're grabbing the t-shirt. And if you feel you want a stronger version of this, you can lift the back knee and you're planting the back foot. And there's a lot to think about here because you really want to get that nice line from the back leg up into the shoulder. Keep breathing. And then we're releasing the hands down. We're going to come back into downward dog. Or, yeah, actually, we'll take a rest, come to kneeling, and have a little moment in chakra pose before we do the other side. So just taking time to really assimilate all the feelings of that very intense pose. Prajnakonasana it's called. So when you're ready, we're going to come back to kneeling. I'm just going to turn so you can see me. And if you wish, downward dog. And if you're not so wanting something gentler, stay in kneeling. We're going to take the left foot and step it forward. So the left hand is coming to the big toe side of the foot. And again, we're trying to get that nice sort of floaty feeling with the arm. So we get a lot of length, then we can do the bind. So the arm can come up and down, swing it around, maybe some circles. Bring it behind the body if you can. So the idea is to really open the chest, to lock yourself in to this so that you can deepen and open and experience more intensity without any pain. Of course, we don't want pain. So you can go for the bind if you wish. The hand can come under the leg. Breathe. And of course, it's very, very normal not to be able to, for the hands not to meet. So if that isn't happening for you, then just work that with the arm being around the back of the waist. Just work that and see if we can just get a little bit of movement in the shoulder. Or if you're wanting more intensity, you can lift the back knee, but it's tough. So have a go. Come down when you need to. And then releasing. Bring the knees down. Just going to come to child pose again. listening to the breath. So come up now. We're going to take a comfortable seat. And in fact, it's a really good idea to get something under the bum for this, because it's quite strong for the hips and the knees. So sitting on could just be a blanket or cushion. So we're going to take the right leg, so the foot, the right foot. So we're taking a cross-legged position, but the right foot is going to be underneath, and then we're going to take the left leg and cross it over. But it's a much deeper crossed leg position because we're trying to get the knees lined up, and the feet often will be back towards the bum. But if you can, you can shuffle the feet out to the front edge of your mat, as though you've got one line between the feet and the knees. And the challenge here is really around the hips. You definitely don't want any sharp pain in the knee, so remember the feet can come right back. Or if your knee just won't accept this, just take a gentler cross leg. So a gentler cross leg would just be like that. So we're trying to, as much as we can, line the knees up so you've got the top knee on top of the bottom knee. I'm just going to show you what that looks like from close quarters. So the right knee is underneath, across the left leg over the right, and where possible, we're bringing the knees as close as we can. And the sitting bones, very planted, very strong, stable, even weight through your sitting bones. So we'll just hold this position. So it's a sort of bind, you might say, because you're kind of locked quite intensely into this, more than a typical cross leg. We're going to get some strong waves of feeling. So coming back to the idea of the third eye as this inner vision, this deep insight. So these are practices that can help develop this. Close your eyes, bring your focus inward. We're going to breathe into these strong feelings. There is an option here for the arms that you can take. If you want something a little bit more intense, you can lift your right arm and bend it behind, so it comes behind the head. And then there's two options for binding here. You can take your left arm and just lift the left arm and reach for the hand and use the grip to draw that right arm down. And that feels pretty good. It's really great for releasing around the shoulder area. Or if you want a little stronger, you can take that left arm, reach around the waist, and you're binding again. So you're grabbing, just as we did from Pajvakonasana, the hands are gripping, and if you can, you're gently pulling down the right hand, gently pulling down. Remember to breathe into this, not to hold your breath. And can you surrender into this? Is there a bit of you, what part of you can you let go of? Where are you holding? Where are you resisting? It might be through the breath. As I say that, I realise I was holding my breath there, so I can take a deeper breath. And then we're going to release. And this wonderful feeling, when you bind, you get this amazing intensity from the release. So we'll just sit with that for a moment. A real lovely sort of rush of feeling down the hands, arms. We're going to release the legs now, so be gentle. You don't want to hurt yourself. Let's just let the knees roll a little bit. Before we do the other side, let the knees roll. So it's the left foot, remember? Or if you're sitting cross legs in a normal way, just recross the leg. So we're trying to bring the right leg over the left. And this is something that is pretty challenging. So if you're not getting quite where you would like to, don't judge it, it will come, and it's normal, it's pretty difficult. Just be interested in where your body is rather than judging it. Just see this as more of an experiment. The knees, probably it's going to be a gap between the knees, but can we close that gap? And the feet can come back towards the bums, they could be here, that's a bit easier. Or you could shuffle them out to the front edge of the mat. So let's just sit with this sensation. Close your eyes, open your inner gaze. Keep breathing. So we've got the right leg on top this time, so we're going to lift the left arm. Bend it behind the waist. We can take the hands, the other hand, and just nudge that arm over. And there's two options if you're going to do the bind. Take the right hand and reach from the front, so just lifting up, or going behind. And I've got my elbow lifted, but obviously I do a lot of yoga. It's much more normal for me to do this, or this, or this. So just, we're working the elbow up, but you can only, that sometimes will take a bit of time to get that opening it in the shoulder area. Real focused breaths here. Is there a part of you that can surrender to this? Is there a bit that maybe is resisting? Could be the jaw, for example. Maybe the belly, maybe you're kind of all rigid and tense around the belly. We're going to release the arms now. We're just going to let them rest on the legs. Feel that wonderful release. So when you release, it's not just your body, you're kind of releasing your mind as well, and you get this sense of freedom in a way that comes after the bind. deepening experience, deep of yoga. I'm going to take the legs apart. It's quite intense, so you'll probably want to groan a little bit. You can just give them a little rub. Maybe sort of brushing down the legs. You can let your knees kind of roll around a bit. We're going to take a very comfortable seat now. So you choose maybe something just completely different. You could be on a chair. I'm going to sit kneeling. I want you to do Nadi Shodhana. It's a breath technique, very, very, very calming, very good for intensifying your focus. So again, that idea of the deeper vision, deepening insight comes when we can intensify our focus. And in fact, the practice of yoga is very much towards this real clarity of focus. They talk about the eight-step path, and that it's a narrowing down of your ability to focus. So reducing all the external stimulation. And part of the asana practice, one of the reasons we do the asana practice, the physical practice, is to be able to meditate more effectively, successfully. So Nadi Shodhana is where we block one nostril. So it's another kind of binding. So we're going to take the right hand. There's different techniques here. I'll show you the one I was taught. And with my right hand, I'm going to gently press my forefinger and my third finger against my third eye. So it's nice releasing pressure against the third eye. I'm going to use my ring finger to block my nostril, my left nostril. And then I'm just breathing out through the right nostril. And then I'm breathing in through the right nostril. I'm blocking the right nostril and breathing out through the left nostril. I'm going to breathe in through my left nostril. I'm blocking the left nostril, breathing out through the right. Breathing in through the right. Blocking the right nostril, breathing out through the left. Breathing in through the left. Blocking the left, breathing out through the right. Breathing in through the right. And now just follow your rhythm. You'll have your own rhythm for the breath. So just follow yours for a few more rounds of this. Breathing out through the left. If you've got into a muddle, don't worry, it doesn't matter. It's normal. Just continue the feeling of the breath, like slowly, easy breath in and out. And the benefit of this is to balance out your left and right side. So when you've finished, if possible, finishing on the left side, so that ideally that's what we would recommend. We're going to try and keep that slow, easy quality within us. The Nadi Shodhana is amazingly restorative, calming, brilliant for the nervous system. Helps you clear out the clutter of the mind by bringing this intense focus into your breath. So I'm going to keep that vibe going and come from your seated position into a Shavasana, a lying position, lying down position. So make it smooth, no jerky movements, come to lying down. And before we completely relax, we're just going to see if we can do a couple rounds of that Nadi Shodhana, the nostril breathing, alternate nostril breathing, without our hands. See how that feels. Don't judge it if it doesn't happen for you. It doesn't matter. So we're just going to breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. Breathe out through the left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right. Breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. And now completely abandon that practice. So surrender any techniques that we've been using. We're letting that all go. We're just coming into Shavasana. If your back is sore, keep your legs bent. Otherwise, feet gently flopping out, legs straight, palms facing up. So if you don't have time for yoga, if yoga is difficult for you to make space for yoga in your life, then this is the pose that you should focus on. It's really simple, just lying down. Even if it's just a couple of minutes here. You're not trying to control anything. It is complete surrender. Eyes closed, opening your inner gaze. So it is very much a practice for developing your insight. So to finish, we're just going to bring the hands into prayer and rest the thumbs against your forehead. And enjoy that sensation, that pressure, gentle pressure to release any tension from the brow. Thank you very much for doing my yoga classes. I enjoyed doing my beginner's course with you. Yeah, if you enjoyed, please do pop into my other classes. I'll send you links to my other class times. And yeah, hope to see you again. Take care of yourselves. Bye.